guys and gals, fans of Bob's Barn Workshop. We're back here working on this little Commodore for a little while, and remember the last time I fixed it, it worked really well, except the spacebar didn't work. Well, in the meantime, I removed the circuit board for the keyboard again, and I replaced all those big wires that I put in there with little tiny wires, and I'll show you what those are. But I still have no spacebar, and I think what happened is I cleaned off the conductive material by over cleaning the surface. So what I've got to do is I ordered some contact paint that is silver based that will be conductive, that I can repaint those contacts. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this apart. I don't have my stand with me today. I'll do this handheld a little bit, so I won't show you me doing it. I'll just show you the stages. Alright, okay, so I've got the keyboard back apart now. I'll try to do this so it doesn't glare too much. But you can see how I repaired that. Those are just single strands from a piece of stranded wire. I mean, they're smaller than wire wrap wire. And that shiny stuff, I actually stuck them all down and coated them with super glue, so those bare traces that I accidentally sanded up above don't re-corrode. But you see those contacts for this thing? That's my problem. So I've got some special paint to repaint that, and because I sanded it off, and I don't see any other contacts here that look worn at all. This computer was not used much at all. And so all I'm going to do is, I've got this paste. It comes in a little tiny syringe looking thing. I haven't even opened it yet. Tiny little syringe. There's like 0.2 of a milliliter of it in there. This was very cheap though. It was only like $5 or something. But that should be enough to do a lot of contacts. I see one here that looks a little worn. I might do that. Alright. I'm going to put it on and we'll see how it goes. Well, that was pretty much a disaster. This came with a little syringe needle tip, so that's what I put on, and when I pushed it hard, the end blew off, and it blew most of the paint out on the table here. Oops. So I'm going to soak that up. Of course, I was able to coat the contacts for the space bar and a couple of other contacts that looked like they were a little worn. I had it open. I did save a little bit of it in here, so hopefully that will keep until I decide that I don't need it anymore. So now it says on the destruction sheet, which the good side that I need to see is in here. It says apply a layer of silver paint on the attachment surface. Just a thin layer can be applied naturally after the uniform smear. See, this is obviously translated. With the condition, can be used electric blow with hot air file blowing for about 10 minutes to completely dry after use. Whatever that means. I do have a heat gun, but of course I don't want to overheat this board either. So I think maybe I'll just let her dry out naturally here. So we'll give her some time, and we'll come back, and then we'll put it back together and test it. Alright guys, hang in there. Alright, well, I got the keyboard partially put back together, just a few screws around the space bar. Let's turn this on and see if she's working. And there's our Commodore. Now let's see if we get a space. Yay! Kinda gotta wrap it. But it is indeed working, and I don't plan on doing a whole lot of. Hold it down, she works. So, spacebar is fixed. The rest of them all seem to work. Okay. Alright, well, I'm going to take it back apart. I mean, not take it back apart. turn it off and put all the screws back in it, and we'll reassemble the whole thing. Well, guys, that was actually a pretty short and sweet today. I have my newer monitor hooked up here, so trying to figure out where our glare is coming from. It really looks quite well, actually. Quite clear. It should be fine for what I'm going to do. This is a pretty good monitor. It does have a comb filter. I don't have a lot of jail bars, which are those real fine lines you see about a character width. Very little appearance of it. My spacebar works. Kind of got to wrap it pretty good. But as I said, I don't plan on doing a lot of typing on this, I don't think. Delete works. So I got my new little SD card reader. Let's see if I can find something to put on that. Okay, friends, I didn't film a lot of this because it was kind of boring. I bought this SD2IEC SD 1541 simulator. You put an SD card in here. It's from The Future Was 8-Bit, TFW8B. It looks like a miniature 1541, doesn't it? The original floppy. You buy this, it's about 60 bucks. It takes a few weeks to get here because it comes from Germany. Plugs into your regular serial port, and it gets power from the cassette port, I guess. And you have to format your SD card in FAT. I did FAT32 in my regular computer and went online and found a bunch of .g64 files, which are basically just the software of the whatever in the cartridge. You load it onto this. They give you a certain file. You have to go to their website and download their CBM file browser, and you put those files into your card, and then you load. Here, I'll show you what you do. It's all in there. You load FB, whatever that means, file browser. Oops. Sorry, that was supposed to be a asterisk, or I mean quotes. Load FB file browser, comma 8, because it still thinks it's the comma 8 drive, and you hit return, and it's searching, loading, ready. You type run. It's loading. Nice monitor, by the way. Okay, now there's my files. So I put one folder in here, C64 games. Load that directory. Strike Eagle 1541 demo, Predator, Test Drive 1, 2, Zaxxon, Galaxian, Dam Busters. Right now I don't have a joystick, but what I'm going to do is I saw Adrian from Adrian's Digital Basement, thank you Adrian, showed that he used an old Nintendo controller, made this the joystick keys, and these are the fire buttons, and so I need to get me a female DB9 connector to fit the Commodore game port. I have two of those, so I can do two of them. I don't know where the old Nintendo is. I don't really care. So what do we want to load? Let's load Zaxxon. He said, I had my chips tested, and he said that my SID was a little weak. I got the monitor up full blast, and it's not real loud. Now, unfortunately, controlled by the micro in here, the serial data going to the computer is almost as slow as the original floppy drive. And then you can see the green light is on that it's actually loading, just like the old 1541. So there we go. Just getting the Triad software. I wonder if I hit return. Spacebar. F1, restore. I don't know. See, that's kind of hung up here. I'm getting some sound out of it though. Alright. Well, as I said, I don't know how these games work yet. So I'm going to have to fiddle with it and get my joysticks fixed. But I just thought I'd let you guys know that she seems to be up and running fine now. As I said, I think that's a really nice monitor. I have very little. I could go inside. See, any monitor, believe me, this was my business for years, and I actually worked on a lot of NTSC signal processing back in the day when I worked at Kodak, because we were trying to figure out how people could play their pictures on their TVs, a lot like back in the day of the VCR first came out. And composite video means it has both the color and the black. See, so when you switch to green, you basically just turn off the color and you're just working with what they call the luma, which is the brightness. You'll throw the color in. The color comes in on a high frequency sine wave at 3.58 megahertz, and by phase shifting that is how you change and decide what color you're using. But anyway, when you got a composite signal coming out of anything, it's one cable with all the information on it, which has been put in, mixed in like your computer or something. Now in the Commodore, there's a luma and chroma signal, which means they're separated. The signals will be cleaner. So I could turn this monitor, which only has composite video inputs in it, because as soon as you come into the back of this on that RCA jack, on that main motherboard, there's going to be a separation filter that separates the luma and chroma out from each other again. So in other words, you go from luma to chroma, you go to composite, you go through a mixer, you go into the monitor, back through a filter that separates them again. So if you can skip the mixer and skip and bypass that separator, you'll have a much cleaner picture. I may try to do that on this because luma and chroma is available on a Commodore 64. So anyway, I think that's kind of neat. I'll let you know as I progress and make some progress here on creating those joysticks and stuff too. I may just end up buying one. Alright guys, God bless. Hope you're all feeling safe in this this coronavirus crap. Pretty soon we'll be out raising hell, and it'll be summer, and we can, there's my kitty cat, and we're going to be outside, hi baby, riding go-karts, because I'm building go-karts too. So if you want to see those on my channel, go see my go-kart I'm building. It's going to be a beast, 18 horsepower. God bless, take care, we'll see you later. What do you want? Huh? What do you want? Oh, you going to check that out? Alright. Well, I got my helper here. I don't know how much help she is, but she's a good buddy. She keeps me busy, keeps me company when I'm working down here and stuff. She's 12 years old, but she looks great. Alright guys, see you next time. So here we are. I got some games loaded up on my new little mini SD 5041 card. As I said, this is from the loading that part of it. Well, there he is, Galaxian. That's the one that works. And we'll go down and load Galaxian from the... I'm going through the file hierarchy here, as you can see. Again, this will be like a tape or a disc loading from the normal 1541, which takes a couple of minutes sometimes. Okay, here comes some music, right? Press F1 for options. Alright. F1. I just got hit. Dang. Of course, this kind of looks like Space Invaders. I'm trying to pick them off the end, you know? Gotta be careful, they're gonna catch me here. So I don't know what this is supposed to sound like. Oh man, got me. Did that just crash? Oh no. Okay. Not too bad for using the keyboard. Oh, you got me. Drove me into the corner. Alright, well there you go. A little Galaxian. So it does work. One more time. We're just going to stray from here. Wait till they get right on top of you. This can only launch one missile at a time. So you don't get a new missile until the old one hits its target or misses. And Atari used to be the same way. You couldn't have multiple projectiles in the air. Right between them? Oh, he got me. Dang. All right. I think my explosion sounds are what's bad. They're gonna get me. They just swamped me. I just had no chance. I'm trying to get winter games and summer games working, but I have to have a good working joystick. I got to get out of the hole here. Right between them. There we go. Not too bad reflexes for an old guy, you know? You gotta zoom in and fire and zoom out. Pick them off one at a time. Just like Sergeant York. Oh, yeah, he wasn't watching what I was doing. Alright. Well, that's enough for now, guys. Anyway, it's working. When I get my joysticks made, I had to order some new plugs to fit my ports here. I'm going to convert those old Nintendo controllers. Okay, guys. Thanks. We'll see you later when that's ready. Peace, love, stay safe.